what I consider a tremendous job. So as you negotiate,
concluded, and we are asking that you be removed.
The meeting be held at a neutral place. Number two, that the representatives of the board be able to talk money. We understand that's now been met, that they have the report and will have it in hand. Number three has not yet been met, and that is that we want to know that before our negotiators go to the table, that whoever the board sends to the table, which is the board's business, that that person have the authority to represent the board.
The official representative for the Board of Education has been appointed the responsibility of Mr. Bob Boyd.
It's, no, they are concerned, the seniors are concerned, if they get their diploma for going along with the administrators, will they be able to go to college if they don't have classes?
Okay, Ms. Everett, one of our top priorities is that the senior students will be given the proper courses. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Mrs. Lara. I live at 225 years. Now I have children on 4 schools, Dominguez, Roosevelt, Kennedy, and Emerson. And I want to know, why do you still have those schools open and those cafeteria workers working in there, making all that food for nothing, going down the drain with our money? And my boards up there, some classes have no heating in there. Children have to be reading and writing in that class with their coats on, and you have got no money? Now, I live in a frame house, and my house it must be framed and coming down, but I still have food for my children and clothing, and I want to know about the schools. I'm paying for those schools too, you know.
That is very true. The first responsibility of the Board of Education is to have the opportunity and the accessibility available for the children in this district to be educated. That is our first responsibility, and that is keeping the school doors open. You have, as a parent, the responsibility of trying to get your child into the classroom.
No, I will not send my children to school, not for babysitting there. They could do that themselves. Dolores Lara.
Ms. Lara, hopefully that the very questions that you're raising, as soon as we can get to the negotiating table, that all of this will be passé, will be all over. And this is why we're here now. But so long as that we go into a dialogue among us, the children are going to be denied the education process. So let me thank you, and let us move on with business, please.
Thank you.
And goes along normally, no problems, no anything beyond the regular discourse of business, then this is what we would have.
Last question. Now, if there's not enough money to meet the requirements, but the date is December 18th, is that correct?
On that very fact.
Meanwhile, we are...
1 o'clock today, and the longer that we ask questions, the harder it's going to be to start negotiating, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Thank you. I'll have to take my minute.
Thank you, Reverend Gray. The one lady who is standing in line, hopefully that will be the end of the questions, and we want to hear you. State your name and address, please.
I just have one question. My name is Shirley Wilton. I live at 16336 Visalia. My question is, since we don't, Compton is supposedly, from your statements, without the funds, what about state funds?
Okay, Ms. Walton, to answer your question quickly is this, is that the state has appropriated the money which is a part of the budget in which is reflected, the $900,000. So school money is based upon what the local people pay, plus what the state gives you your total budget. And once a budget has been adopted, there's no altering that we can do. Now, the only way that we would need to go to the state is that we would get wiped out of the $900,000 that's left, and we would then become a bankrupt school district. Then it would be incumbent upon the board then to go to the Board of Supervisors and make a formal request to the state to borrow additional money. But you know that when you borrow money, you also face the obligation of paying it back. So this is where we are.
I want it impressed upon this board that we have classified employees in this district too that are doing all balanced. You're keeping the schools open, but I can assure you that some of the services that's performed by the classified employees, some of these sophisticated people in this district would not perform these duties. So let's keep it in a proper perspective. Thank you.
Mr. Smith, you are absolutely correct, and we are most appreciative of those persons classified as well as others that have stayed on the job. Asked you once and the last time, you are out of order, and will you please be seated?
I will be seated in 1 second. I do not want, the teachers have asked me to make certain that the negotiations are not sandbagged.
The board has said that the negotiations have now, the speakers have now been...
The teachers,
this board this morning. This is the community, and that's it.
until every community person spoke. I waited until every community person spoke.
Will you please?
And I'm asking for special privilege. I know it.
Will we have order? We will either have order or we will adjourn the meeting.
Please.
Will you sit down, please, and be orderly? Please. We'll hear from Mr. Boyd, our administrator. Will you please?
Otherwise, I'm afraid there may not be negotiations.
I'm a
Better be
teacher.
clear.
I'm a teacher. You're representing.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. My name is Thomas Brown. I'm from the California Teachers Association. I'm here at the request of one of our chapters, the Compton Education Association. The California Teachers Association will remain assisting the teachers in Compton as long as it takes. The staff from the National Education Association will remain as long as it takes. The reason I asked to speak, and if you recall, I waited until every citizen and every person here had already gotten ahead. I do not want to take a chance of stopping anyone else from being able to speak, but I also do not want to take a chance of letting negotiations this afternoon get sandbagged as they were Monday afternoon. The board knows very well that before negotiations may start, there must be 3 conditions. And those are not conditions that are some acquiesce at the table. They're essential to get to the table. Number 1, and we understand that we have agreement on this, that there has been no equivocation on this one. We do not want to go.
Requisite that you have pronounced has been met. Negotiator in behalf of the board, and he has this authority.